Who's watching you?
Hey everybody, I'm Brad Ellis. I got to play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Brandon, I know you played this at E3 also.
With the way you just said the game title, I already like how this is going.
Oh yeah.
I already like it so far.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So you got to play at E3.
Yeah.
Before we dive into what I played, I want to know just briefly what you got to experience with it.
I got to experience basically the full extended version of. It was confusing at E3 because there was like the trailer that everybody saw, the demo everybody saw, the demo we saw behind closed doors, and then like what we actually got to check out. And it was all kind of different pieces of the same thing.
So it was kind of like just like very straightforward what you got to do. Okay, so I got to play this game for a couple hours, Jones, and I got to get a good idea of what this game actually is. So I'm just going to use some very broad terms here to give everybody an idea what this game is.
All right.
So this game is a Souls-like,
Yeah.
and it's there's definitely a lot of elements that mixed with Metroidvania of exploring.
Okay.
So I want to talk about immediately a big deal of this game is the combat. Combat, very familiar to you. You've played any Souls, like you got your dodge, you got your parries, you got all that stuff. But what's really cool, Jones, about the parries is you could parry blaster shots at you. So if you block, you just you do your standard block, but if you time it right, you actually reflect it right back at them. You got your quick attacks, which is just so odd. Like the lightsaber sounds in this game and like the lightsaber itself.
I think because so 2.5 hours, 3 hours? How much time?
Yeah,
did
I
you
got
have?
like 2 something.
Like that's enough of an amount of time that there was probably a significant skill difference between you at hour 1 versus you at hour 3.
Sure.
What kind of stuff's accentuated? Like, was there a point, like you were talking about deflecting? Like, I was still trying to figure that out, but didn't get enough time to play with it that I could really experiment and have fun. Did any part of that kind of get routine after a couple of hours? Or was there any part that seemed tough, but then later you're like, nah, it's not that.
So this kind of ties into the difficulty of the game. So, Jones, I don't know if you know, there's multiple difficulties in this game, but depending on what difficulty you put it on, certain stats are changed for the game overall.
Okay.
This includes damage you do and take, but also parry windows. Cool. So, if you bump it down to a much lower level, it makes
those up, baby.
Way easier to do parries and stuff like that. Yeah, but there's also a really hard mode where it's just super small, which I kind of experimented with a little bit. I was like, yeah, this is good stuff. I really like that. Of course, there's a slow learning curve. I don't think this game has a huge learning curve, though. I think you can hop into this game and feel like
to me, the big thing was multiple targets. It's like
sure,
and that's where I think it really plays to a Souls-like, because there were circumstances, even the short demo that I played, where I could kind of pick and choose how hard I wanted to make. Like the difference between grabbing somebody out of a group, throwing somebody, throwing a lightsaber at a third guy, and then dealing with the fourth guy, or just running in and taking them on all at the same time.
So the part I played in the game was fairly early on. I did not have force pull. I did have a slowdown. I could not throw my lightsaber like that either yet. I didn't have any of that.
Yeah,
I had a slow down though and push.
I played some
on.
kind of Game Genie God mode. They
yeah,
did
of
say
course.
that
They
at
just
E3,
gave you a
like,
bunch of
turned
tools.
Everything up.
Yeah, but one thing I like about this game is all the force powers are just bound to the face buttons, Jones. So it's not like start, equip this force button. It's all just like R1, L2, whatever. So it just makes it all real fast. I would say the difficulty on normal is pretty chill. So if you're like worried about like getting through this game, I think no one will have a problem. But there is the harder difficulties.
I didn't find bosses, and that's the big thing. I'm not stuck in Sekiro in the rank and file right now. I'm stuck on a very specific boss.
Yeah, there was like one boss fight, I would say, at the demo that I did. They showed us another boss fight, like a more traditional, what you'd expect, like one-on-one lightsabers clashing kind of thing, but I didn't get to experience that. I fought an AT-ST, Jones.
Excellent.
And it was cool.
Shadows of the Empire vibes.
Much better than Shadows of the Empire, though. But it was just walking around.
Which is an amazing fight. I don't know what.
Shadows of the Empire at the time was
it's not a bar that needs to be reset.
Incredible. I know. I love the IG-8 train level still. Don't worry. But you got this AT-ST. You can parry the shots it fires at you. It's rockets. You can eventually grab and throw them back. All that good stuff. Really cool, Jones. We have footage of it, but it's not me playing this game.
Right.
So I did this fight, Jones. I was fighting it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I could parry and everything like that, throw the rockets back. Then I was just like, wait, let me attack this with my lightsaber real quick. I just ran up to it and just chopped its legs and decimated the boss. I was like, what? The footage they gave us is them playing with the tricks, doing everything all cinematic. But it's I just walked up and went and just crushed it, man. Also, the game has a lot of platforming. A lot of platforming.
Yeah, there was wall running. There was lots of Uncharted
so, yeah.
vibes. In the trailer, he does a lot of jumping. He did the wall running. I mean, it's a cutscene, but the
It's
jump
like-
he does to the ship, like they
It's
definitely accentuate
Uncharted
that.
to me mixed with like shades of Titanfall in there.
Okay.
Because you do a lot of wall running, it feels very Titanfall. That's like wall running here, back. But there is a lot of like platforming, like Uncharted-esque. You know, you're sliding down some ice or whatever. You got to jump. There's some cool parts where they do where you like slide down stuff and you got to force slow some stuff down to jump through it. Just like nice little
He pulls
things
a
like
bridge
that.
in the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like some obstacles you have to slow down to jump to, which are pretty sick actually. It's like just a really simple thing, but how they laid it out was really nice and satisfying.
Easy to read the environment. Like
Yeah. There's also like some puzzles, I'd guess, in this.
yes, and this was BD1, right?
There's BD1, yes.
This is where I like where BD1 comes into play because he kind of takes on the role of like your Uncharted friend who's like, hey, Nathan, maybe you go up there and flip that switch. And he just kind of jumps and does stuff for you. And you have that great Luke R2 conversation where like you don't hear what, the droid says, but you hear what your hero says.
I was happy, but it wasn't like, in contrast to Shadow of the Tomb Raider that came out last year where Laura just like constantly was giving you hints. Like, not a ton of hints in this. They weren't giving me a bunch. There was one thing where something popped there. It says like hint, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll see what it is. And it's just Cal going like, yeah, I need more of this. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty. From what I was doing, it was very straightforward and not really a huge hint.
Do you know if that's tied to difficulty at all?
I have no
you
idea.
turn that up
Actually.
or
That's a
down,
good
okay.
idea, actually. It starts as like you going through here area. There's multiple paths you can go through. There's all the good stuff you love, your shortcuts. You got all that stuff. You're going back to areas. Then it like kind of like went into this like Uncharted-esque. I was in a temple, Jones, going through this temple and like solving kind of like light puzzles here and there, manipulating stuff. Then it like goes back out to combat sections.
Temple, you say?
Yeah, it was like an ancient
Just
temple.
a garden variety temple?
It was an
not-
ancient
okay.
temple. I don't want to talk about story stuff.
All right. They're
you
not playing
really-
Yoda's theme up in this temple?
No.
Okay. All right.
No,
I'm just checking.
No Yoda, nothing like that. There wasn't. One thing I hate about Star Wars Jones is when they just like double down on references too much.
Sure.
Didn't double down on references too much from what I played, so I was happy.
Cool.
Progression. Everyone loves leveling up, dopamine, skill tree.
Don't you tell me what I love.
I know
Brad
you love
Ellis.
it. I love it. I think everyone loves leveling up.
I do
dude.
love it. I do love it in a Star Wars game, especially, man. Like, I miss like Academy and Outcast and
Got all that stuff, Jones. Kill people.
spending those points.
Does the old Souls formula. You got your
Using
XP.
the Force?
Yeah.
Killing people?
You got your XP. You die. You lose it. You gotta like get it back.
Okay. I mean, that's new for Star Wars.
Yeah, because there's essentially what are bonfires that are like little Jedi resting places.
Right,
He
right.
goes down and like rests. If you rest, you get all your health back. Respawns
But
enemies.
it respawns enemies.
Yes.
So how does that is that contextualized at all? Where it's
No.
like,
Not
it's
that
like,
I'm aware of.
it's been a forced
Not
stream.
not that I'm aware
Now
of.
just a bunch of troops come back.
Yeah, not that I'm
Cool.
aware of. Just
Cool.
like they just come back. You got your health that work exactly like an Estus flask or like a blood vial. Just a quick little boop, instant healing. I had
Cool.
2 at the time. There's the skill tree, Jones, when you kill.
And that's a tech thing. That's not isn't that like BD1 does that or?
Yeah, he goes like, BD1, give me like a
Yeah.
sending,
So
like,
that's not a force ability.
No,
That's
it's
not-
like BD1 helping you out, which is cool.
Yeah.
You got your skill tree. There's abilities like there's passive abilities like increased max health. There's some new combo stuff. Like one of the things I got, which was really cool, was like a leap attack that used force. You like leapt forward to get a like a nice little cut on him. But if you timed to jump during it, he would like do a flip over it.
Cool.
Like to me, I really appreciate it because they give you this little tool to play with, but they make it a little more complex if you want it to be,
Yeah.
which I really love.
What I found in my playthrough, and I'm mostly excited about you talking about this today, Brad, because you're going to be just better at this game than I am. Like this, you just play more of these types of games, even outside of Souls, just general Bayonetta, Devil May Cry action games. And but what I really liked was I could definitely tell where you are. Movement is like a big key thing because you can push people, pull people, because you can leap, because you can, kind of like find those things, droids, monsters, people with guns shooting at you that are trying to stay away from you, and then you can close that gap, get away from all the other people harming you. Because I found a lot of times I was like, oh, here we go, I'm going to lay a sick combo. They were just out of reach of the lightsaber, and so it's like, it doesn't just take care of itself, that kind of portion of the combat. And so that's what I liked, because you see a lot of trailers and they focus on, I mean, it's really easy to sell this game really cinematically. And so a lot of the trailers focus on combos. They focus on really cool finishing moves and stuff. And like, that doesn't, as you being a fan of these types of games, it's like, that's not really speaking to me. I need to see 30 seconds of this game unedited to really know like, oh, okay. that looked difficult.
Yeah.
That looked like something that he overcame.
Man, when I was playing this game, there was like a lot of ideas where I was like, this game takes a lot of ideas from different games, but I think it works well.
Which is smart.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think for a franchise like Star Wars in 2019 or 2018-17, when they started development on this game, to really look at the landscape and be like, what can we learn that hasn't really been done in this series? Like all of our favorite games. We were talking about Shadows, we talked about Outcast and Academy and stuff like that.
But it's like when you're fighting guys, they have like a stamina meter too. You can essentially like almost death blow them from like Sekiro, where you do like some crazy finisher. I was like, whoa, this is sick.
Yeah.
You could leap off stuff, Jones, and like do like a finishing like Tenchu style, cut someone down. Love all that stuff. It's good.
I am a sucker for finding a bunch of soldiers that don't know I'm there yet. Seems
Yeah.
like the game is going to offer that up a lot.
Yeah, like the way it places them, it gives you opportunities. Like when you're in an area, obviously enemies are placed a certain way to allow you to do different things, but it's
And
cool.
the spiders were like eating stormtroopers in the level
Yeah,
that I
right
went
off the
through.
beginning,
And
yeah.
so I really dug that at E3. And so I'm like, that would be fun, especially when you maybe get like a Rancor or some other like big
Yeah,
crazy like
there's,
episode 1 monsters or
I
something.
was-
They're just rampaging around, and you're like, I'm
One
just gonna
thing-
let
yeah,
that guy
yeah,
do his
yeah.
thing. And
I was very pleased. The game had quite a bit of variety of enemies, which I was surprised. I think there was like 3 or 4 stormtrooper types I was fighting. I wasn't just fighting stormtroopers the whole time. Like you said, there's these weirdo bugs. I fought like a huge, like weird space troll thing at one point. In the temple, there's these really cool, like guardians. I would say like stone, almost like golems or something like that. Just like huge units, man. You got to chop them down for a while. They can really mess you up. But what I liked is the game added a little element of when they're doing a certain move, if you do a force power, it'll put them in like a really vulnerable state. So you could do some huge damaging blow.
cool.
They just add like little tiny things to the combat to like just make it a little different, which I really appreciate. Oh, I didn't even bring up the map. Very much like Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
You're going to use this map a lot. It's great. I think the map's really good, actually. You can also scan stuff like Metroid Prime. So when you kill someone, you could scan about them and learn more
Right.
info. And sometimes it like gives you hints about a better way to take them down.
I liked it because one thing that gets me really stuck in games like this is like I just straight up don't know what to do. And like I feel bad because it's not that like the game's not really explaining it to me. It's just like I would love to just get through this game a little bit faster right
Sure,
now.
yeah.
And I don't really need to take like all the new exploration stuff they've added to Assassin's Creed. I'm like, nah, I don't like it's in Breakpoint 2 where it's like you figure it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have time.
I think like
And it looked like it was really easy to look at the environment and be like, haven't been here, have been here, but didn't finish
Yes.
it, and have finished all of this stuff over here.
I think if you're going just for main objective, you could find your way pretty easily.
Cool.
Like you won't feel like, man, where the hell am I going? But there is definitely little secrets here and there. Like I found this harder enemy called a plague trooper. They're the guys in black armor. I found one of these guys the whole time we're playing. They're a much harder enemy, but you got some sick rewards from doing them. Which I need to talk about too, Jones, is rewards, man. Chests with items, skins. We're talking new outfits for Cal.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, new outfits, like different color schemes. You have ponchos you can equip with them too. So you can have sick different colored ponchos, but you don't have to wear them if you don't want them.
There's no stats on these. It's just
No, this is
okay.
purely cosmetic. There is new cosmetic for your droid, BD1, where you can change his color.
I'd like to see him change up his wardrobe a little bit in the trailers. Like he's just
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know, not necessarily generic because that's a harsh thing to say
Yeah.
to a human being. Like,
Sure, yeah, yeah.
This is an actor,
But it's
playing
just,
this
like,
role.
fitting
But
that
like,
Star Wars.
I'd love to see him kind of stand out or look unique. Have
I
some
didn't
cool,
see anything like rapidly different,
Yeah.
like dress-wise, just different colors, mostly from what I saw.
I
But it
just
seemed like there was a lot.
they're playing him up so much. I want to have some kind of connection with this guy, and I think it could be rightfully so that they're holding back a lot of like the
Yes,
story
they are.
elements that'll really
They
connect
are
me to
holding
him.
back story elements.
So it's
yeah.
nice to know I can kind of
Yeah,
I can shake up
they
his style.
give moments of development for him, which I appreciate. But once
Yeah.
again,
It's
can't
fun
really
dressing
talk
up
about, like,
people in Star Wars.
besides dressing him up and your robot, you can dress up his ship, the skin of it, and all
Neat.
that good stuff, and your lightsaber, Jones. So, your ship. You got your ship, Jones. This is where you do everything. This is where you can see all the planets. You talk to your crew. In the back, there's a workbench. You can work on your lightsaber. Very intense detail of this lightsaber. The amount of stuff you can customize on this thing. I found different handles, different grip, like just different, like tons of different things, like just applying like the grip of the lightsaber, like the button, like the vent part at the end. I did find a green kyber crystal, I guess, that changed the color to green.
Cool.
It seems like there's a lot. I didn't have a lot.
I would probably go green.
Yeah,
for
I
a
had blue
lightsaber.
and green,
Yeah.
so I was like, "Oh, this is sick."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
I
I
think
feel
that
like,
I think that fits the story. I think that's unique for a Star Wars game. I like. I get I give Respawn nerd points.
yeah,
For
I think
focusing on that. I think that's really
you
smart.
you can really like customize this lightsaber,
Neat.
like the handle color and stuff like
Very
that.
cool.
You can go a lot in. The ship,
If they had like DLC after the fact that was like all the lightsabers through history of Star Wars,
Like-
I'd be like,
like
for like $5,
the
I'd be like,
Skywalker one.
All right.
Yo, you give me Luke's Return of the give me Luke's Return of the Jedi one.
You know,
I'm
like-
like, whew. Yeah, they could just be like, oh, here's Kylo's lightsaber. It's just like, God damn it. But a lot of the stuff, Jones, in your ship. So I guess it's kind of like Mass Effect-y. I guess it's been a while since I played Mass Effect, but you can see all the planets. You could pick what planet you go to. It's all like seamless. There's not like a loading screen or anything like that. Where you're just sitting there loading. Like
Cool.
the crew like goes to the front of the ship. They engage in light speed. They're talking. Then you like sit down and like seamlessly it goes into. Obviously, stuff's loading.
Yeah.
They're just hiding it, making it look a
You're
little
like
more
going through the cave and God of War. basically.
smooth. Yeah. So there's gonna be plenty of backtracking. I specifically asked them about backtracking.
Yeah, I talked about that with them at E3
and they
too.
said, yeah, you're gonna have all that kind of stuff. I don't know how in depth it'll be, but there's definitely stuff I didn't get to go through where I was like, I don't have a certain thing for this.
Yeah.
They showed us some boss fights that I didn't get to play. Actually, they got the standard one-on-one, lightsabers clashing, but I didn't get any of that.
So you're just watching a video, or did this?
They did like a
Okay.
presentation. They showed us some stuff at the beginning. Like, here's some stuff further in the game, but you don't get to do any of this.
Because I'll tell you my dream. Where we're at right now, what I think would really benefit this game, and what I really hope. And I see them doing it a little bit because they have the. I'm so sorry, Star Wars fans. The sister, I don't remember her name, but like the one of like the badasses that's hunting him. The one like in the trailer.
Yeah, they're
with the
like
super cool
what are they
helmet.
called? The
and,
Nine Sisters, I think they're
yeah.
called.
And we get the new like Red Troopers in Episode 9. It's like there's a lot of cool villains coming to the series, and I know a lot of people make fun of it. They're like, oh, we have to have all these new characters, but like we kind of do, and,
Yeah, you
and I
kinda
think
do.
I think that's something that I would really I think would make this game stand out, and something that like looking back on like Force so many Force blank titles, not Force Awakens, Force Unleashed, especially Force Unleashed 2, was there was nothing new that was introduced. It's like, man, remember when they did that? And I would love some kind of boss fight. I would love some kind of new enemy, something that's not like a direct cameo to any movie that I've seen, something I've never, some crazy new enemy type or boss type that I've never seen before. That if you see it pop up in a card game or somewhere else in lore,
Yeah.
or like the Resistance animated show picks it up or something, you're like, what's that from? And it's like,
Yeah.
that's only from this
Only
weird
from
game.
this, yeah.
That would make me so happy as a Star Wars
Yeah,
fan.
the only
I'd be
thing
proud of Respawn. Like
that I could
nice.
like link them to previous Star Wars stuff is their Inquisitors. I think
Yeah.
I don't know if all of them are, but like the ones I saw were particularly Inquisitors.
to really, and a lot of lore has dealt with this. Obviously, all the characters that we know, including like Rebels, really focuses on this like running from the Empire, and just to like shake that up in some way meaningfully that doesn't completely lean on Cal. That's like because it's happening to Cal. It's like
Yeah.
don't make everything about him. This is about
Yeah, the game
Jedi.
definitely
We
gave
already
me-
care about so
the
many
game
other Jedi other
definitely
than this
gives
guy.
me the idea that there's a bigger story just besides Cal. It wasn't just like Cal. It was actually not a ton on him when I was playing it.
And aren't they saying this game's going to be kind of long?
The idea or the vibe I'm getting from it is it could be pretty long.
Yeah.
Not like
I mean, like 20 hours.
Yeah. 20 maybe.
God of War length.
Yeah, certainly.
Speaking of, with any influences there? Anything? Because that's also kind of like backtracking. You're going to these different
Yeah,
worlds.
sure.
Yeah,
I guess you could kind of say it's like that. Like a lot of games do that, I guess. But yeah, you're backtracking. To me, it was more like it just because I played it this year reminded me a lot of Sekiro, just like the levels going through it and stuff, like how it's connected and like that. But there is definitely the sense of, I guess, like God of War-esque kind of things like that.
Not here to
Yeah.
put words in your mouth.
No. But I'm like thinking about it as you're saying
Just
it. To me,
big
I'm
set
like,
piece moments and stuff. I'm just thinking about
Yeah,
a melee weapon you can
So-
throw and retrieve.
I know a lot of people when like the original like demo was shown at E3, people were like, "Oh man, this is like super straightforward. I'm worried about it being corridor, no exploration." There's plenty of that. So I think if people are worried about that, you will have a good sense of exploration actually. So
I think you can tell from the map. I hope we get a good gameplay chunk because I know that's like very very spoiler heavy. They
Yeah,
don't want to.
yeah,
they
they
like
don't wanna show that.
they like intentionally tease that in the video, in their like demonstration, and I got to see even like behind closed doors. I got to see a very little taste of it. I just think that would be cool because it would show people, like, obviously there's a focus, like, Metroid Prime is a great example of you really picking apart this environment. And you can kind of imagine it, too, because they're always doing that in the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, yeah, totally all that stuff.
Vector graphics.
But yeah, Jones, always worried about, like, games, especially, like, Star Wars games, where just like, with their track record. I came away from this being much more confident.
Nice. Worried is nice. Angry, I would say. You're
angry,
aggressive.
Angry, worried. Yeah.
You're always yelling about Star Wars,
yeah,
Brad.
That's true. I am. I am. Because they do a lot of dumb shit.
Well, it's like, for many reasons, I want to end 2019 being happy about Star Wars.
Yeah, me too.
And we're going to kick it off with this. And I am excited. I did have a good time. If anything that I lamented during my time is that I didn't have 3 hours with it. But because there was definitely like a moments where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do the thing. I almost did it. That I'm sure, like, man, 30, 40 more minutes with this. I can really,
you'll get
start
to
to
hang
have
of it.
fun and mess around.
But yeah, man, that respawn quality is there.
He seems like such a nice guy. How do you justify just chucking stormtroopers off of?
Hey, man, they're trying to brawl, man. Yeah. They're gunning for you, dude.
Anything else? Story-wise,
like.
Your crew is cool.
So,
you mentioned just mechanically how they
So the
work,
crew, you had like 2 people with you. You had the lady. They showed some droid, or no, he was like some weird creature. His name was something like Freeze almost, but it wasn't Freeze. I wrote it down in my other notebook, but I forgot it.
I've seen it like 4 times, and I try to remember it every time.
Likeable crew though, but very small from what I saw. So
Yeah.
it seemed very into BD1's cool. Love BD1. He didn't like. He like would get off and like kind of look around a lot, but he was less involved than I thought originally. From like. I'm sure he'll do stuff later. I'm like, what I played from the game seemed pretty early. Like, this seemed like their first planet you really explore.
Oh, cool.
So it seemed pretty earlier on.
Because I think E3 was later than that.
Yes, because I got to some of that later on. But yeah. Yeah, man. I'm excited for this game. I assume you're excited from it.
Yeah, I'm hopeful in a lot of ways. I feel bad for Respawn because they got a lot of weight on their shoulders from all of the turmoil that's happened, man. Dating back to Battlefront 1, it's been a long time, and it feels weird because in so many other things we've celebrated, just the AAA, rock and roll nature of Star Wars, and it's just firing on all cylinders. And so, I'm worried that with all of these different genres, as we've said, which I think is a smart play, where they're just like, I'm going to take a little bit of Uncharted, a little bit of Souls, a little bit of kind of more action like platformy stuff. I think that's going to work, but I wonder. People looking at it, how their expectations are set.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
what game they compare this to, most naturally.
Yeah, like to me, it's like you can't reinvent a video game genre every time you come out with a new game. I know it's Star Wars, but it's like, this is they're specifically going for mass appeal in this game. That's not a bad term as they're saying it.
Yeah, I'll take a good one.
Yeah, and it's a good one so far. So hopefully it turns out great. Jones, when finally play it, we're going to be reviewing this, most likely me, when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's it, Jones. Thanks for talking about Star Wars, man. I'm hyped. I know you're hyped. See y'all later.